Yesterday's Enterprise first aired on February 19th of 1990 and was directed by David Carson. The episode was well received by viewers and critics and it earned a 13 on the Nielsen ratings, the highest for the season, and was watched by 12.7 million households. Many considered it to be one of the best Star Trek episodes ever made. Now, over the years, as I've said before, this episode from The Next Generation is considered to be one of the best ones. But if you sit down and pay attention to the dialogue, the words that are said here, there are problems with it. And the problems with the dialogue, at least in a couple of cases, aren't as bad as the final battle between the Klingons and the Enterprise D to protect the Enterprise C.
But that cruiser was destroyed with all hands over 20 years ago.
Presumed destroyed. The Enterprise C was last seen near the Klingon outpost Narendra 3, exactly 22 years, 3 months, and 4 days ago.
This is Captain Garrett of the Starship Enterprise. To any Federation ship, we have been attacked by Romulan warships and require immediate assistance. We've lost warp drive. Life support is failing.
There's no record of the Romulans ever assaulting the Enterprise C.
There's no record of the Enterprise C ever being attacked by Romulans. Well, really, if they were defending the Narendra 3 outpost, who destroyed Narendra 3? I'm sure the Klingons kept records of it. And by the way, Captain Garrett did say a distress call came out from the Klingon outpost, which meant that they were reporting they were being attacked by Romulans.
History has no record of your battle with the Romulans.
We were responding to a distress call from the Klingon outpost on Narendra 3.
The Narendra 3 outpost was destroyed. It is regrettable that you did not succeed.
So once again, data reports that the Enterprise C was last seen near the outpost of Narendra 3. And yet the outpost was destroyed, and Captain Garrett admits that the distress signal was sent out from the outpost while it was under attack. And yet there is no one in Starfleet or in the Klingon Empire who can put any of this together to say that the Romulans who were attacking the outpost destroyed the Enterprise C. That just doesn't make sense to me. I'm just having a problem with this. This scene right here sets up the whole problem with this episode. At the beginning of the episode, after the timeline was altered, Crusher informs Picard that there are reports of the Klingons in the area. Picard orders the ship to go to battle alert, and that is the last that we will ever hear about any type of defensive posture regarding the Klingons until this scene right here where Captain Garrett is killed. Where's the battle alert? Where was anyone monitoring for the Klingons? And how did this ship suddenly appear out of nowhere? Yes, it has cloaking technology, yes. But at the same time, they were aware that there were ships in the area, enemy ships in the area, and they did nothing to protect themselves and the Enterprise C from that.
Meanwhile, our long-range scanners have picked up Klingon battle cruisers on an intercept course.
Number and type of ships, Mr. Crusher?
3 Cavort-class battlecruisers, sir.
Okay, so you've just heard a piece of Captain Picard's log. There are 3 Klingon vessels coming in, and they have to protect the Enterprise C at all costs. Understandable. But the speech that he gives to the crew right before the battle begins, it's kind of wrong. He says, we could outrun them, but we must stay to fight. This is a large ship, fully armored compared to the Klingon ships, and yet the presentation, the speech that he gives to his crew is one that says, we don't stand a snowball's chance in hell, but we're going to do what we have to do.
As you know, we could outrun the Klingon vessels, but we must protect the Enterprise C until she enters the temporal rift.
Okay, so this is where the battle begins, right? The Klingons are going to pounce all over the Enterprise, and they're also going to try and hit the Enterprise C. But the events that take place here just don't make any sense to me. And maybe it's because of my lack of military training. I don't have any military tactical skills, but this scene seems wrong on so many levels.
Fire. Mr. Crusher, come about to course 148003.
Aye, sir.
Photon torpedoes ready.
Dispersal pattern, Sierra. And fire.
Okay, so you just heard that. First, we had the captain's log where he acknowledges that there are Klingons en route. At the same time, we have him giving his speech about we must make sure history remembers the Enterprise. While he was making the log, shouldn't Riker have had the torpedoes loaded and ready to go? But at this point, we don't find out that the torpedoes are ready to go until after the Klingons start attacking the ship.
Course 148. Correction. Course 170. Mark 014.
This scene right here drives me crazy. Picard is taking his sweet time ordering the locations for the weapons fire, and when they need to change the direction of the weapons, he slowly gives the correction. And at the same time, no one else on the bridge seems to be emphasizing the severity of the situation. I can name at least one other movie where, in the middle of a battle, the entire crew was yelling, and there was more belief that they were in a life and death situation.
Do exactly what I tell you.
DSRV's away. There's a Russian Alpha about 8,000 yards to starboard.
Captain, I think it's a Konevalov.
All ahead flank, right full rudder. He's shooting again, sir. Go to battle stations.
Speeds cruise, torpedo in the water. Bearing 315.
Make range 7,000 yards.
Steer right, 315.
Wait a minute, that's heading into the torpedo.
Steady bearing still 315.
Estimate range 6,000 yards.
Still 315.
Steer right till this reach 315.
No, that's wrong. Ryan, don't turn that goddamn wheel.
Going back to Star Trek for a moment, let's take a look at the undiscovered country and see how Kirk and crew responded when their ship came under attack.
This is fun.
Reverse engines.
On the stern. 1.5 impulse power.
Back off, back off.
Through the auxiliary power.
Auxiliary service destroyed, Captain.
The one thing that's important to me is historical accuracy. And I'm not talking about the canon of the franchise. I'm talking about how the next generation responds to certain events that happen periodically within the series. It should all be pretty much the exact same thing. Say, I don't know, like a warp core explosion or a warp core breach, or even the fact that one is threatening to breach. They should have the same protocols, the same standards, and the same way of detecting them, right?
Engineering the bridge. Starboard power coupling is down. Containment field generator 3 is damaged. Attempting to bypass.
If we lose antimatter containment...
Acknowledge, LaForge.
So containment generator field 3 is damaged. This is going to be the beginnings of a setup for a warp core breach, right?
Antimatter containment fields are failing. If I can't stabilize them, I'll have to dump the reactor core or she'll blow. Coolant leak. Bridge, we've got a coolant leak in the engine core. I can't shut it down. I estimate 2 minutes to a warp core breach.
So at this point, we are in a Kobayashi Maru scenario. The warp core is going to breach. There's no way for this crew to get off this ship. Even if they evacuated, the Klingons would probably pick them off one by one. But this is where it gets really bad.
Federation ship Enterprise. Surrender and prepare to be boarded.
That will be the day.
First of all, let's examine this situation very carefully. There is a warp core breach in progress. The Klingons should have sensors, and they should be detecting that as well. But the next message that Picard gets is prepare to be boarded. And then, to top it off, Picard goes out with dignity and honor, not going to ever take that away from him. That'll be the day, he says, and starts shooting until the Enterprise explodes. At least that is the impression that we are given, because the Enterprise C enters the rift. And while I will admit it definitely was a noble and honorable way to meet your end, I honestly think that Kirk's approach to this problem would have been a lot better.
Commander Klingon vessel. We are energizing transporter beam. Now.
5.
Get out!
3.
Get out of there! Get out!
1.
Do you see what I'm saying here? The Enterprise's warp core was about to blow. Picard was ordered by the Klingons to surrender and prepare to be boarded. He could have surrendered, and considering there's only 2 birds of prey left, with only a dozen on each ship, they would have had to have beamed their entire crew on board to cover a ship as big as the Enterprise, so they would have killed off the Klingons, and at the same time, the explosion would have killed the Enterprise and the 2 birds of prey as well. Picard's way was honorable, but Kirk's way would have been more spectacular. Yesterday's Enterprise is really a good story. Unfortunately, in my opinion, especially when it comes to the ending, they really dropped the ball when it comes to the story itself. As I said before, Picard's death, the Enterprise's death, destruction, could have been more epic, more glorious. The fact that the warp core was going to breach, and yet the Klingons still wanted to board her, made no sense at all. The fact that Picard was slowly navigating them through this battle, ordering slowly where to fire the weapons, and then when the ship started taking all this critical damage, he tells Wesley to fire at will. That order should have been given right from the get-go, and the damage that they took probably would not have been nowhere near as severe. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments on this, so please drop them below and let me know. Until the next time, my friends, God bless.